Facebook, please feel free to not just watch, but also contribute to drop your responses to our talking point this evening, which is, do you have any questions as to the basic rules of basketball? We're here to respond to you on that, just to ensure that more persons appreciate the sport. Because in the past we've asked questions, why don't you follow it that much? And people say, okay, maybe the timing of games in the NBA. Some other ones will say, I don't really understand the rules and regulations, so how does it even work in this life? So let's at least sort out that part of the rules and regulations for you so you can understand better. So if you have any question, today's the day to ask us that question, and we'll try to respond to the best of our abilities. Before we get there though, it's pertinent we focus on the brilliance of Yanis Antetokounmpo as he scored 50 points after just about 30 minutes of experience for him to propel his side, the Milwaukee Bucks, to beat the New Orleans Pelicans by 135 to 110 points. Antetokounmpo shot 20 of 26 from the floor. And I need to always remind you that he's Nigerian after all said and done. Yeah, of course, he's focused on the Greek national team these days, but, you know, Antetokounmpo, the same team last. So cool stuff for him and cool stuff for his side. And Dan is going to be sharing with us the other results of games that we have seen in the last 24 hours in the NBA before we delve into other things on the show. But it's important we hear from Yanis himself. His desire is to keep getting even better as the matches come and go. Quality stuff.
I think that there's a level that I'm trying to get to, and right now today was a step towards that direction. But you can never be comfortable. Obviously, making those shots, it makes the game a lot easier. It's something that I know that I'm capable of, but I gotta keep on working on it and keep on working on my skills as much as I can and try to help my team win in any way possible. I feel like defense, I gotta pick up my defense up. I gotta be better for my team.
I can imagine someone trying to decipher what accent that is. Really, it's not Yoruba accent, it's not Igbo, it's not Hausa. It's Greek accent, I guess. So it's more of that Greek thing around his speech band than the Nigerian thing. But his looks still represent Nigeria for sure. And before we get to you, because I know you're eager really, Dan, to talk about the NBA All-Star experience and the status for the two teams. Yanis is the captain of one of those teams. What else happened last night in the NBA?
Well, interesting games. Memphis Grizzlies played Indiana Pacers. Memphis Grizzlies won that one 112-100.
Yes, boss.
Cleveland Cavaliers beat the LA Clippers 122-99. I saw someone on the chat group saying Kawhi is back, but hey, you know how it is. And Yanis doing it, 50 points. I mean, the rebounds, the follow-ups. No, it was incredible. Milwaukee Bucks won that one 135. New Orleans 110. But other games that happened before, 24 hours prior,
yes, sir.
Were Detroit Pistons versus Houston Rockets, and Houston Rockets won that one 117-114. Orlando Magic fell to Chicago Bulls 109-128. Atlanta Hawks fell to LA Clippers 121-113. Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Sacramento Kings 117-110. San Antonio Spurs fell to Phoenix Suns 118-128. New Orleans Pelicans fell to Washington Wizards 103-113.
Alrighty.
The most controversial game was the Celtics LA Lakers game. I don't know, the refs need to be checked. A lot of people getting technical fouls. The Lakers lost that game 121-125. A lot of controversial calls. And after the game, the refereeing committee came out and said, "Oh, LeBron was fouled," and I'm like,
if you guys thought that it was only all about the Premier League for football persons that you have these controversies, well, it happens in the highest level of basketball as well to the NBA this time around. Well, I did have a fantastic DM sent to, of course, my Twitter DM from a gentleman who made so much sense while speaking to us. Shout out to you. Isiala Christian. He said something about the European Basketball League and the fact that he would love us to say a bit more about that Euro Basketball League on Courtside shows. So in the coming weeks we should delve into that. However, we need to still stick around with the NBA now because it is just days before the All-Star weekend.
Now it's time for the 70th NBA All-Star Game. The best basketball players in the world are on the scene. It's all about supporting HBCUs. So now let's meet the team.
Now we can meet the teams really for the NBA All-Star Weekend for 2023. The starters have been revealed. Who are they, Dan?
So we have for the Western pool, we have Stephen Curry. Actually, King James is the captain. Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Zion Williams. And for the East pool, we have Kevin Durant, Antetokounmpo as captain, Tatum, Kyrie Irving, and Mitchell is also there. So it's.
All right, you just said that for sure. The NBA All-Star Weekend will be upon us from February 17 to February 19. That's in just over 2.5 weeks' time. So these are the guys who are going to be battling for that. And it's LeBron James as captain of the West Pool against Yanis, the Nigerian, Antetokounmpo, who of course is Greek. But yeah, we guess you call him as our guy last. Of course, he's captaining the East Pool. So that's going to be some exciting battle to come. We'll build up to the All-Star Weekend as the weeks do come and go right here on Courtside. Yeah, let's get into the talk that will bring you on board. I would just appeal to Dan to help me click that call link. Let's have Azu join us on the show now to and have these conversations around some of the basic rules around basketball, okay? Feel free to keep your thoughts coming through. Facebook, we're streaming live, Nigeria Info, space 99.3. That's how you can watch us and also respond to talking points for the show for tonight. And hey, there's Twitter throughout Nigeria, Info FM, and there's the WhatsApp portal too. Like I love to say, you can tell us what's up using WhatsApp. How about this one? That's the phone lines too. That'll be buzzing in just a matter of minutes, I can imagine. Let's go to it. So in football, as you know, you have 11 versus 11 for a game, right? 11 players in one team, 11 players in the other team. In basketball, it's 5 versus 5. That's the first thing you have to know about the sport. 5 players in one team, 5 players in the other team as to the starting lineup. In football, it's 90 minutes, 45 minutes in the first half, 45 minutes in the second half. In basketball is what, Dan?
It depends on the game.
Yes, sir.
You could have as much as 45, depending on how it goes, and if there are overtimes, you can have in between, 5-10 minutes, depending on how the game goes. But I heard that some new changes coming in, so we're looking at how that's going to work. The NBA, they're always used to bringing in new things.
Yeah, so basic basketball game for you is broken down to 4 different quarters, 12 minutes per quarter. As to the standard. I know there's some games, just like Dan said, that could be 10 minutes per quarter, but on an average, it's 12 minutes per quarter, so 60 minutes on an average, just like you have 90 minutes of football. But there are a few differences between basketball's timing and football's timing. Which we'll speak about shortly for you and with you. For now, let's have Azu join us on the broadcast. Azubika Onicha, how you doing, man? And I hope you're recovering from this injury of yours.
Good evening, Truman. I'm doing okay.
The injury,
when you say injury, I don't
sound serious now. You sound
they,
serious.
They said you have a torn ACL.
A what?
Torn ACL.
Torn? T-U-R-N, right?
Yes, torn ACL.
T-U-R-N.
Yes.
You're torn.
Yeah.
You have an ACL.
ACL,
okay,
But yeah.
He did not say ATM or this period where we're looking for money in ATM and we're not saying really.
If you're torn to be in ATL Atlanta, turn be in ATL. Good evening to the listener out there. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, nice to hear from you. I'm sure you've seen, before we get back to the rules of the sport, I'm sure you've seen the All-Star starters and the fact that, we're going to have, you said something about 2 weeks ago, you were saying you hope Kevin Durant is not allowed to pick a team. But the good thing is we now had Yanis Antetokounmpo, have that privilege. So I'm sure that's something that will make you smile, more so with his Nigerian connections.
We saw what he did for the game. I mean, he has 50 points yesterday. That young man is just something else.
Yeah, he is.
And that's what we talk about. Give it to the best. Don't just look at the legends in the game. Yeah, Kevin Durant, legend already, but Antetokounmpo is just that one you cannot take away from basketball. And I'm looking at the box already, destroying everybody. So let's just watch out what happens. And it's good for the starters already. That's the beauty about NBA.
Yeah.
Just be at your best and you'll be one of the top players to be looked out for. So we're looking forward to what's going to happen in a City again.
Wow.
after for the first time in 1993. A child that was born in 1993 will be 30 years today. This year, rather. So 30 years after, it's going to be a big one. So we're looking forward to the biggest of them. So Yanis, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Harry Ivan up against. Maybe not really up against. They've changed the format. Normally once we see this list like this, we know it's going to be Western Conference against Eastern Conference. But most likely there's going to be some very lovely twists. LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Brian Williamson, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, man. I just want to see the best of basketball. That's what I want to enjoy. And this season is not going to be short of that. Because these guys have really done well for themselves.
They really have, no doubt about it. And that's it. The good thing is we have, like I said, we're going to have at least 2-3 more courtside shows before the NBA All-Star weekend comes around. So by then we can focus on the teams and then speak about who the favorites could be to win that game. But back to the rudiments of the sport for the sake of our listener and how they can connect with watching and enjoying basketball games even more. I said the basic 11 versus 11 in football, 5 versus 5 in basketball, and 90 minutes of football, 60 minutes of basketball. 45 minutes first half, second half in football. In basketball, 4 different quarters, 12 minutes depending on the games. But in the World Cup, it's 12 minutes. In the Olympics, 12 minutes. In the NBA, 12 minutes. So that's like standard somewhat. But there's a bit of a difference in timing, right? In football, for example, I know that I was listening to the former Premier League referee and the man who these days is in charge of the referees body in England say something about the fact that they've studied and have come out with the theory that out of the 90 minutes of football, the real play itself inside 90 minutes of football is just about 58 minutes. Because all of those injury things and all of those things, all of those things take so much time. But in basketball, which is a good thing, when you want to go in for those breaks, the time is paused, isn't it?
Yeah. So we to a level had that at the World Cup also in football. So
when they gave us 10 minutes extra time, but in basketball, it's about pausing the time. I just want to get that.
And also just for us not to forget, in some leagues it's 10 minutes, like the Nigerian Basketball League, it was 10 minutes per quarter. I'm saying was like it's finally gone. It's actually 10 minutes per quarter, at least for the last time we had it. When we used to see the Nigerian Basketball League at the indoor sports hall. So they play 40 minutes per game. So that's another thing we should be. So you don't get surprised when you go to
that also answers a question for a few listeners in the past who have said, how comes you're having 110 points in an NBA game? One team scores 100 points, but in our league games in Nigeria, teams are even struggling to score 50 points sometimes. So I think what you just said now answers that, in the NBA,
to a level. That might not be enough. That might not be enough. I think the NBA guys are just more quality. This is what they've been doing from 1 year, 2 years. That's what they focus on.
It's more organized.
They are more organized and they are more professional. They are better shooters. They focus on this game. I saw the Argentine league yesterday, and they had 74, 79 as their final score. So you can imagine. So like I said, you cannot come. Not be only us. No, not be only us. Our one game would even get 40, 45, 50.
Highest you see is maybe 60 something there about.
Yeah. So, but the Nigerian games, when you see 100 points for Nigerian games, it must have been a very entertaining one. That the guys are close, and you must have Azoma Dike and Usman Mohammed, and also Stanley Gumuto on the court, all put together. The All-Star games, they won't give us 100 points most times. But it's beautiful to see some of this stuff that work out that way. So for timing, like you said, that's the standard, and I like the fact that the NBA is, or basketball generally is more organized with the way time stops. I saw a bit of it at the World Cup. You will notice the referee telling you, the football World Cup, this last one that just happened. They'll tell you, if you like, slow the game, then we'll stop
we're going to add it.
We're going to add it up. But basketball is more perfect. And maybe football will get to that point someday.
Maybe, really. We have a bit more to say as to the basic rules and regulations of basketball for the listener. But let's hear from them now. So you're going to remain on the line, Azu. You could just listen. You know, go talk again. You just listen like that. Make we hear waiting, then get to talk to us right now. This is Courtside on Nigeria. And for my name is Chuma Nolin here with Daniel Chukuma and Azubike Onicha. It's what we do every Monday evening on 99.34 show. You can dial 0700 993 993 993 to join us. That's 0700 993 993 993. We're here to respond to your questions as to the basic format that basketball games take, so that it can help you in your quest to understand the sport and appreciate it even more when you're watching on television. Dan, please, sir, let's click the right buttons now. That's 0700 993 993 993. How are you doing?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
This is wonderful calling from Ijegun.
Wonderful, really. I like your name. Welcome.
Thank you. So my question is this: what are the bases for penalties in basketball? Because I watch a lot of basketball games and I don't understand why they give penalties. It's very confusing at some points. I get like, why is there a penalty
throws
for this?
now. Free throws.
Why?
Okay. All right. Keep listening. We'll try and respond to that. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. I'm going to say that just like your name goes, really. Thanks for that. A few more calls now. Hi, how are you doing? Sorry about that terrible connection. We have other options, so there'll be no disruptions.
Good evening.
You're live on Courtside. What's your name?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Tony.
Good evening.
Welcome, Tony.
Calling from Solo.
Okay.
I want to talk about football.
You're listening to Courtside, and this is a basketball show. We have football to come later, okay?
I know your line.
All right. Thank you for speaking to us. Let's focus. Don't get distracted,
evening.
my friend. There's football.
Hello, Chuma. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to the other guys in the studio.
Good evening.
Dan Chukwumanazu.
Yeah, so my name is John. I've actually been watching basketball like since 2017 or so.
Fantastic.
Nice.
But I've not actually been active for like the past year or so. But I just want to ask, like, how many personal fouls can a player? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're listening. Yeah.
How many personal fouls can a player commit before he or she is sent off?
Okay.
That's one. Then another one is like, what is the premise on which someone commits a technical foul? Because I hear that a lot, like technical foul. Like, what does that?
Oh my God, the connection just went there. But I've taken note of those questions. How many personal fouls should a player commit before, I think, sending off? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Let's see. And then the first guy was said something about free throws.
Yes.
How many personal fouls? Okay. All right, I think we can start responding to a few of those before we go in for a commercial break. When we return, we have more to speak about, by the way, on the show. We'll read out your comments on Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp. In response to the first question from the first caller, Dan, when he was asking about, wonderful is his name, actually. He was asking about free throws and all that. It's quite a unique situation in basketball, isn't it? The fact that 8 teams are allotted a certain number of fouls.
Yeah.
So the NBA allows each team a total of 5 fouls per quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Once a team surpasses that allotment,
Free throw line.
bam. Yeah. So you who's asking about the penalty, as you call it, which is free throw, you're given the luxury of 5 fouls in the quarter.
True.
By the time you're done with committing 5 fouls in that quarter, any other foul you commit is free throw, okay? So that's where your penalties come in, you who did ask that question. And we'll try and respond to the last caller after the commercial break, okay? Let's go in for that break now. This is Courtside on Nigeria Info. We're trying to respond to questions from you, basic questions, if it's really complex, we're going to bring coaches to come and speak to you, okay? But we're going to try our best to ensure you understand even more how things work in basketball so you can appreciate and follow the sport more than you're doing right now, perhaps. It's Courtside. Chuma Noli, Daniel Chukwuma, and Azubike Onicha, who's joining us through the phone lines. We have your comments to cover on WhatsApp, Twitter, and Facebook. We'll be back before you know it. Just to remind you, too, that there's game on after Courtside. All those who are waiting for football stories, that'll come alive from 7:45 or thereabouts.
Conversations that matter to you.
There are people for personal, religious, whatever reasons who do not want to take a vaccine. And I think they have the rights.
They cannot go to stop insecurity. It's to force people to take vaccine. Let them come and kill me. I can never take it.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Imagine a life with zero worries. Imagine a world where you're relaxed and free. Where all your dreams
with Pay Financial, you have zero worries when it's time to pay your bills, rent, school fees and vacation. We'll be here making it easy for you.
Visit our website www.pagefinancials.com or call 017007243. Page Financials, taking you further.
These are your construction equipment. I hope they are bringing good money.
Things are slow this period.
You should list them all on the Urban Fleet app and get access to more renters. Get the Urban Fleet app from your app store and on www.urbanfleet.biz.
At last, the elections are here. Let's turn out en masse on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as President of Nigeria for a renewed hope and a better Nigeria. Vote APC, the party that shows a broom.
My people, it's that time once again. Hammer chance here again, so my people don't go. You got to take good care of your skin. Got to check on your skin so it's not like sandpaper. Make sure you rub your hands, oh yeah. Make sure you rub your legs and your face, oh yeah. Thanks to Vaseline, everything's so smooth.
Vaseline Petroleum Jelly shields you from the harsh effects of harmattan. Created to lock in moisture, Vaseline keeps your skin smooth, soft, and protected.
So soft, and thanks to Vaseline.
Isn't it beyond extraordinary owning a smartphone with a distinctive retractable portrait lens camera on an eco-friendly back cover designed with a sleek cinema-like mute-smooth screen, a super fast charge battery, and PC-level large memory? Go for the new Techno Phantom X2 today and get a free Phantom razor toothbrush or a trolley travel case. Also enjoy 24 months warranty, 100 days broken screen warranty, and free data on a 5G network for up to 12 months. Hurry now to select retail stores while offer lasts. T's and C's apply. Techno, stop at nothing.
Thanks for calling Bastion
Since
HMO.
I signed up with Bastion HMO, I don't worry about hospital bills. I get access to top quality health care and still save enough for other things. They even help me pre-book my doctor's appointments. Bastion HMO also gives me access to over 1,700 hospitals and clinics with the freedom to switch whenever. I feel so in control of my finances and health.
Call 0800 Bastion or visit www.bastionhmo.com to purchase a plan that suits your needs. Bastion Health, the HMO that puts you in control.
At last, the elections are here. Let's turn out en masse on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as President of Nigeria for a renewed hope and a better Nigeria. Vote APC, the party that shows a broom.
Book a ride on Anaya to move around Lagos. From Lekki to Oshodi, from anywhere to everywhere. Try Anaya and you won't go back to your old ways of moving around Lagos. Hurry and download Anaya app today and get your first ride for free using the promo code First Ride. Anaya, ANAYER. The power to move.
Everyone is at the table for lunch. Mom is bringing in the jollof rice. And then...
John!
Sorry, Mom.
Hello? Can I order some jollof rice to be delivered?
Mama saves the day. Lunch is here.
Mom, I got some Coke too.
Just come and eat, Joe.
Cook up memorable moments because family lunch and an ice cold Coke make a recipe for wonder. Coca-Cola, real wonder.
My people, it's that time once again. Hammer chance here again, so my people don't go. You got to take good care of your skin. Got to check on your skin so it's not like sandpaper. Make sure you rub your hands, oh yeah. Make sure you rub your legs and your face, oh yeah. Thanks to Vaseline, everything's so smooth.
Vaseline Petroleum Jelly shields you from the harsh effects of harmattan. Created to lock in moisture, Vaseline keeps your skin smooth, soft, and protected.
So soft, and thanks to Vaseline.
Book a ride on Anaya to move around Lagos. From Lekki to Oshodi, from anywhere to everywhere. Try Anaya and you won't go back to your old ways of moving around Lagos. Hurry and download Anaya app today and get your first ride for free using the promo code First Ride. Anaya, ANAYER. The power to move.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Welcome back to Courtside on Nigeria. And if you're watching us live via our live streaming, I'm sure you're going to be wondering what are Chuma and Dan doing with their hands high and low as if we're playing basket. Well, perhaps we want to try a bit of shooting 3-pointers right here in the studio. This is Courtside on Nigeria. And for the home straight of our presentation, we have just about 8 more minutes to be in here before we switch to Game On and delve into everything around football, tennis, and other sports. We know that it's hotting up in the transfer window. Getting even hotter somewhat, heating up if that's the right word to use in the January transfer window for football persons, and you hear about that from us shortly. For now though, before we went in for that commercial break, we're speaking about the basics around basketball. After touching on the NBA, that is, we told you about the All-Star status for the West Pool and the East Pool. We have also spoken about games that have taken place in the last 24 hours, and now we're speaking about the sports and how things still work. Gonna go back again to it. 45 minutes, first half, second half in football, total of 90 minutes. In basketball, 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 4 different quarters, total of 60 minutes. That's standard in the NBA.
So the game, if the scores are tied at the end of the fourth quarter, then you get into overtime. Sometimes you could have like triple overtime. So the best team that scores, even if it's 1 point.
That's like, it feels like golden goal kind of. Like golden goal rule that year in football.
So that's why you see all the buzzer beaters.
Okay, I get you, so you're hearing it now, yeah? That's Daniel Chukuma, by the way, as we can only chat, is joining us via the phone line. Still, we're streaming live on Facebook, Nigeria Info, space 99.3. You can search for us there, watch what's happening in the studio live, and also drop your comments. We'll read those comments of yours. Dan is trying to form like he can dance, but if I tell him to stand up now, I'm sure those dance moves will disappear, kind of. Let's respond to a question from one of our callers before that commercial break. And he was asking about how many personal fouls, Dan and Azu, that a player has to commit before being sent out, just like red card in football, before being sent out of the basketball court. Yeah.
Azu, do you want to take this on?
No, Dan, I think you can, and then Azu is going to come in.
Okay, maximum 5.
Okay.
So it depends on the tempo of the game. So once a player has like 3 fouls, he has to come sit down and few things from outside in, and the coach has to re-strategize on how to play off someone else off the bench. And we have, like, in a team we might have like 12 players or 15 players. Then we have let's say 10 on the bench, 5 go in, then there are subs come in, and if we have the best sub that comes off the bench, we call him the 6th man.
Okay.
So that's the person that actually comes off the bench and just delivers and goes back. So once the player has 5 fouls, he has to exit the arena. So he can't sit on the bench. He has to exit the arena and watch from the locker room.
But when he goes off, just like you said, in football, if you're sent off, that team is down to 10 men.
Yeah.
Here, if that guy is sent off, they're not down to 4, yeah?
No,
you said, the 6th man will come in and just balance it again.
Yeah, so you could have, while the game is going on, if you have, let's say, 12 players on the bench, 5 already in, right? You could make as many as 5. You could sub the whole 5.
Yeah, okay.
It depends on the gameplay and the strategy the coaches want to use at that time.
All right. By the way, Dan is a basketball coach. He understands these things too. Beyond just saying it, he also does practice it. And Azu, you're there, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Okay. I want to speak about these substitutions. So in football, you are sent to the bench by your coach, for example. He makes a substitution, and you cannot come back into that game again. When you've been substituted once, it's done.
Yeah.
In basketball, is it the same thing?
No, it's almost unlimited. So people come in and go out freely. So you could even start and play some seconds, and you're out again, and you're brought in almost immediately in minutes. So whichever way the coach wants to make it work. Not something where they tell you, okay, you've done enough substitutions, that's enough, stop it. So you're free to do as much substitutions as you want to. It's just so easy, and that's because of the game planning dynamism of basketball, not just like football, when you know you are out and you are out for life. Basketball just has some of these things that make it look more interesting. Okay. And I think they've just looked for a way to work it out. And when you follow basketball, you cannot love basketball and not love some of these things. I heard Daniel talk about fouls. And just to chip something in, 5 fouls makes you still, with the new one we found, in the NCAA, that's the college basketball, it's 5 fouls. The 5th one sends you off. But in NBA, after the 5th, you get a warning. So the 6th one, you're out of the game completely.
Oh, okay.
But just also chip also, I don't know if Daniel mentioned that because I think I was off at some point. Fouls, not every offense is a foul.
Okay.
Travel don't count as fouls.
No.
Some other things that you do don't count as fouls.
Okay.
So basketball is just interesting, and gradually we'll get to talk about these things more. I would have done more, but I know time is not really on our side. But just to make the listener understand, fouls in basketball is 6 for each player. 5 is already putting you on that line. Like the next thing you're doing, you're getting out of the game. Nobody will ask you questions. You're carrying your bag, maybe cross. And coaches also get
technical
of this foul. So when you get a foul, anything that leads to a free throw is a foul. Anything that leads to a free throw is a foul.
Okay.
That's what basketball is about.
All right, I'm going to read out some comments now. Sorry, guys. On social media, at King_Shako on Twitter says, "Hello, good evening to you guys, Chuma, Dan, and Azu. I just learned from your program today that it's 5 players from each side in the basketball game. So they have 4 halves in basketball. It's more like 4 quarters. That's what they call it now." And he goes on to say, "You guys can post some of the rules explained here now." All right, more like saying we should bring that on Twitter too. So he's just learned a few things. Thank you for your thoughts, man. Good to hear from you, King Shako on Twitter. This on WhatsApp says, "Good evening, guys. I'm Mario from Bagada. I would have loved to see Joel Embiid and Joe Morant in the NBA All-Star lineup." So that's his thought on the All-Star starters. And this says, "Good evening. I do have a question. Why do we have 12 minutes per quarter in the NBA, Chinese League, etc., and 10 minutes per quarter in the European leagues? What does traveling mean in basketball?" Good job from you guys. Chris from Ota, the very one that was in Chuma's Twitter DM. Okay. All right. So that's the guy who spoke to me, Christian Eziali, on Twitter the other time. He's talking about a bit of the disparity as to timing. Because, again, football people think that 90 minutes is 90 minutes anywhere you go in this life. But, in basketball, the European leagues, just like you said about the Nigerian league too, which is 10 minutes per quarter, when the NBA is 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Perhaps a bit more freedom from FIBA for these guys to do what they want to do, yeah?
Yeah, I think the 10 minutes could just be a decision. There could be more to it. And funnily, I've not taken my time out to check because we just enjoy NBA and forget about what's happening in Europe. Although I see some Clásicos in, don't forget there's also a Clásico in the
basketball.
The basketball league, Barcelona and Real Madrid. They do the same thing, but as usual, Barcelona, they always come out of very much to Madrid fans. So it's just the beauty of those games, and timing could also be a part of it. But once they have a decision, this is what they want to do. And the European League will come out tomorrow and say, also want to make it 12 minutes and move on that way. So I've not really gone in to check. I just enjoy the game and forget about the time. But we know the NBA is 12 minutes for the standard, and the Nigerian League at least. I know my country, my Nigeria. We know that 10 minutes each year.
All right, we're going to try and ask a few more questions and investigate to bring that response on radio to the listener. Again, it's like the European Championships, their Nations Cup, or even the UEFA Champions League. They don't have the bronze medal match, yeah? But in FIFA's competitions, there's the third place match. That's a bronze medal match. In Africa, there's the bronze medal match, third place match. In Europe, there's no third place match. So maybe there's also that conversation too of the guys in Europe wanting to do what they want to do sometimes, which is the uniqueness around them some of the times, really. We need to get ready to wrap up the show, Dan. But guys are also speaking to us on Facebook. I think we need to find that streaming platform. Of course, it's live on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. And let's see if we can pick 1 or 2 more calls. Azu will have a chance to say his bye-bye shortly. But you can dial 0700 993 993 993 to join us. It's the final part of Courtside here on Nigeria Info. Daniel Chukuma Azubike on the chat, Chuma and Mali in the studio with you. That's 0700 993 993 993. Surely that will get you connected to the studio experience straight away. More games to come tonight and in the days to come. Dan, in the NBA, stuff that guys certainly can look ahead to. And, for you, Azu, I'm sure that even as you're out injured, you would sacrifice a bit of sleep sometimes to just catch up with the live action.
I still don't understand what you guys are talking about when you say injury. I just explained. I said my own is not CHORN, it's torn. CURN. It's my turn to be in HCL Atlanta.
Okay. And not torn.
Not
ACL.
ACL.
Yours is torn ATL.
Injury.
He's torn to be in Atlanta, not that something. Achilles tendon injury. Whatever they call that thing.
So tonight games we have Philadelphia 76ers versus Orlando Magic, Brooklyn Nets versus Los Angeles Lakers, San Antonio Spurs versus Washington Wizards, Minnesota Timberwolves versus Sacramento Kings, Oklahoma City Thunder versus Golden State Warriors, Dallas Mavericks versus Detroit Pistons, Phoenix Suns versus Toronto Raptors, Portland Trail Blazers versus Atlanta Hawks.
All right, and we have one versus through the phone lines now just before we exit the studio. Yeah, that final lucky caller on Courtside tonight. Hi, how you doing?
Hello, good evening, gang.
Good evening to
Good
you. What's your
evening.
name, please?
Chuma is here too. Azu is here too.
Chuma, I greet you.
Dan is here too.
The Holy Spirit is here
we
too.
all greet you for sure. Welcome.
I greet you guys. You are doing very wonderful work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying you guys so much.
we appreciate you.
Yeah, my name is Eleni.
You're welcome.
Nice one.
Yeah, I'm calling from Lekki.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I want to ask the question, like, compared to football, that somebody score a hat trick.
Yeah.
Is there anything like that pertaining to the basketball?
Yeah.
Not in that context. So in basketball, for example, Yanis, like we mentioned to you at the beginning of the show, by himself scored 50 points in the game. So there's what they call three-pointer. Maybe Dan is going to explain that to you. You can go off the phone and listen to us, okay?
Okay, thank you guys. God bless you.
All right, God bless you too. But in direct response to him, Dan, in direct response, even though you're going to explain further, hat trick in football, in basketball terms will be assist, points, and there's something
Triple-double.
Triple-double, yeah. In basketball terms, perhaps that's hat trick, but it's not exactly the same
Yeah, it's
thing.
not something that happens all the time, but it
Same thing,
happens.
actually.
People like Russell Westbrook, Stephen Curry, Kyrie Irving. Those are people who we know. Those are players who we know that always have triple-double. Westbrook, triple-double lord. So yeah, it happens. It does happen.
Okay, but in a direct comparison, there's no hat trick in basketball as you have in football. Football hat trick means you scored 3 goals in that game, you by yourself. In basketball, you by yourself can score 60 points, as we've seen Kobe Bryant of blessed memory do in the past, really. So thanks for calling us, man. We look forward to elucidating more on the rules of basketball in the coming days and coming shows. As regards Courtside, we're going to try our best to ensure that we enlighten as many people as possible, just so we can appreciate the sport even more. To remind you that this is an important year in the sport. There's going to be the FIBA Men's World Cup, and we're hoping that somehow Nigeria can qualify for that. Certainly going to be some massive fun. The last time we had a World Cup was in 2019. It was Spain, Argentina in the final.
If you're just joining us, welcome. This is the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2019 final, and it is between Spain and Argentina. Spain, the red, attacking the basket to the right, winning the opening tip.
Alrighty, so this year we'll find out which teams will get to the World Cup and also get to the final too. Well, this is the final say somewhat on Courtside for tonight. Thanks guys for joining us. Special thanks to my man Azubike Onicha for finding time to be part of this through the phone lines.
Azubike Onicha,
physically in 7 days time. But for you, Dan, man, thanks for going through all the traffic, courtesy of queues in filling stations to come through tonight.
Lekki axis, VI axis is God help us. God help us.
Really crazy. God will help us after all said and done. True. My name is Chuma Noli. I'm still in the studio right here. Next up is Game On the nation's #1 station for news, talk, and sports. This is Nigeria Info, and the action gets into football and other sports right now.
As fans of the beautiful game, every goal placed with the finest commentaries.